The distress beacon pierced through subspace like a knife through silk. Commander Elsa Chen stood on the bridge of the UHNS Valkyrie, her dark eyes scanning the holographic display that flickered before her. The signal was desperate, repeating in loops, a plea from the Kilari colony on the edge of the Andromeda sector. "Captain, we're receiving the transmission." Lieutenant Riza Kovac called from his station, his fingers dancing across the haptic interface. "It's not meant for us." Elsa raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Riza's jaw tightened as he decoded the message. "They're calling for the Zenthari Defense Coalition. The colony is under attack by Krell raiders, civilian population of 50,000. The Zenthari fleet is their protection detail, but..." He paused, checking the tactical readouts. "The Zenthari are 6 days away at maximum jump speed. And we are?" Elsa already knew the answer. 14 hours, Captain." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew the reputation of humans, the species that had crawled out of Earth, a Class 12 death world where everything from the weather to the wildlife tried to kill its inhabitants daily. The galaxy had watched with a mixture of horror and fascination as humanity had bootstrapped itself into space, bringing with them their particular brand of stubborn resilience. The Quilari were gentle beings, herbivorous philosophers who had never known war until they'd encountered the Krell. Their crystalline bodies were beautiful but fragile, designed for their low-gravity homeworld where violence was a forgotten concept. "Send a response," Elsa ordered. "Tell them help is coming." Riza hesitated. "Captain, the Kilari have refused human assistance before. They find us unsettling." Elsa's lips curved into a tight smile. "Then they can be unsettled and alive. Transmit the message, Lieutenant, and prep the fleet for combat jump." The Quilari colony administrator Thessera nearly shattered her crystalline hand when she received the response. Humans. The Deathworlders were coming. Stories about humans spread through civilized space like wildfire. They were the species that breathed corrosive oxygen, drank poison they called alcohol for recreation, and kept predators as companions in their homes. Their world had tried to kill them for millions of years, and instead of dying with dignity, they had evolved to survive it, and then thrive. But Thessara watched the Krell ships descending on her colony, their weapons already firing on the outer habitation domes, and realized she had no choice. The Zenthari weren't coming in time. It was the Deathworlders, or death. "Tell them we accept," she whispered. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace like vengeful angels, 12 ships led by the Valkyrie, their hulls scarred from a dozen conflicts. They weren't the largest vessels in the galaxy. Humans were too new to the cosmic stage for that. But they moved with a predatory grace that made even battle-hardened species uncomfortable. "Krell ships detected," Riza announced. 23 raiders, medium class. They've already breached 3 habitat domes. Elsa's hands gripped the arms of her command chair. She'd fought the Krell before. They were opportunistic scavengers who preyed on the weak, overwhelming peaceful colonies with numbers and brutality. "All ships attack pattern Theta 9. Riza, I want firing solutions on every Krell ship within 30 seconds. "Aye, Captain." The Valkyrie screamed forward, its engines pushing gravities that would have killed most species. Humans had evolved on a world where they had to endure, and their bodies were dense, their bones thick, their organs redundant. What would crush a Quilari to dust merely pushed humans into their acceleration couches. The Krell never had a chance. Human tactics were born from a world where everything was a threat. They didn't fight with honor or elegance, they fought to win. The Valkyrie's railguns opened up, magnetically accelerated slugs moving at a fraction of light speed. The first Krell raider simply ceased to exist, vaporized by kinetic force that turned metal into plasma. "Target destroyed," Riza reported calmly. "Acquiring next target." Elsa watched the battle unfold with cold precision. This was what humans did. This was what a Deathworld species brought to the galaxy. Not just the ability to survive, but the will to fight for those who couldn't. The Krell tried to adapt, tried to bring their superior numbers to bear. But human ships moved like they were alive, like predators hunting prey. They didn't follow the standard galactic doctrine of ship-to-ship combat. They were erratic, unpredictable, using tactics forged in the waters and skies of Earth where weakness meant death. Within 20 minutes, the Krell fleet was in full retreat. "Should we pursue?" Riza asked. Elsa shook her head. "Let them run. Let them tell others what happens when you prey on the weak while humans are watching." Thessera met them at the colony's main landing platform. She trembled, whether from fear or relief, she wasn't sure. Captain Elsa Chen descended from the shuttle, and Thesara was struck by how different she looked from the crystalline Quilari. The human was compact, dense with muscle, her skin dark and scarred. She moved with barely contained energy like a coiled spring. "Administrator Thesara," Elsa said, her voice carrying the strange harmonic quality of human speech. "Your colony is secure. You saved us," Thesara managed. "I don't understand. We are nothing to you. We have refused your alliance offers, called you barbaric." Elsa's expression softened slightly. Beside her, Lieutenant Riza stood at attention, his pale eyes scanning the perimeter with the constant vigilance of someone who had evolved expecting threats. "Where we come from," Elsa said quietly, "there's an old saying. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. We heard your call for help. That's all that mattered." Thesara felt something shift in her understanding. Perhaps she had been wrong about the Deathworlders. Yes, they were violent and frightening, forged in the crucible of a world that had tried to destroy them, but that same forge had given them something else, an unshakable determination to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. "Thank you, Captain," Thesara said, and for the first time she meant it when speaking to a human. Elsa nodded. "The Zinthari will be here in a few days. We'll stay until they arrive." She glanced at Riza, who nodded confirmation. "And Administrator? Next time you need help, don't hesitate to call us. We Deathworlders take care of our neighbors." As the human captain walked back to her shuttle, Thesara realized that perhaps the galaxy needed Deathworlders after all, not because they were frightening, but because when the darkness came, someone needed to be willing and able to fight back. And humanity, born from Earth's violence and raised in its crucible, would always answer that call.